Hello, friends. Welcome back to Called to Homeschool with me, Meg Thomas, your homeschool coach, guide, and guru. Friends, we're entering into my 18th year of homeschool, and what an amazing adventure it has been. I've graduated 5 babies from homeschooling now. I love that you get to see that progression. That even though I started before homeschool and before there was all these resources, my 5 big kids, it's just so fun to see. And so I hope people stop them and ask them questions about that. And it's really fun that I get to do that, but I still have 2 babies at home that I'm homeschooling, a teenager and then my little bonus guy. So, super fun. I love talking all things homeschooling and parenting, because when you start to homeschool, you start to realize the part of the reason why it can feel so hard is because you have to become an emotionally mature person and start really taking responsibility and accountability for your own actions because you are together day in and day out with your kids. And so that is why I focus so much on this family piece and creating peace in your home, restoring the family so that homeschool gets to just be fun and you can do it long term. So I wanted to share a quick story today with short and sweet podcast because I know it's summertime. So a few weeks ago, we got to go on a little weekend getaway. And we went about 3 hours north of our house is a lake in Utah called Bear Lake. And well, it's Utah, Idaho. It's all over the border. And it is a beautiful, beautiful lake. And it was amazing. And 6 of my kids were able to come out of the 7. The 7th one is on a mission in El Salvador, so he was not able to come. But our 6 kids came and my daughter-in-law. So my husband and I and 6 of our kids and my daughter-in-law. And my heart was just full because I remember so many years ago before people had turned 18 and before people started moving out, that we were sitting at a family meeting and we talked about what do we want our family to look like in 5 to 10 years when people have moved out? What do we want that to look like? We started creating a very intentional of what does the next phase look like and what are we doing now to create that phase that's like feels so far away. And I know some people hate this exercise, but I love it because I like to have this plan, right? And like, what actions and steps do I need to be taking to become this family, this people that we want to do? And so I remember as we were doing this, we talked about what are some things that, like, we would love to look like? And, I wish I could find the calendar we did this, I'd have to dig through everything. But some of the things I remember we talked about is we wanted to have fun together, to laugh together, holidays together, traveling together, whatever that was, a lot of together stuff. So we talked about, okay, great. What are steps we need to take to then hit that goal? And it's all the fun, fluffy stuff, right? Like play games and have family meetings and work things out and make sure we're working together, right? So, all this fun stuff. But I remember that we also went through and said, then what do we need to avoid that would take us off of this path that we want to be on? And that question was so helpful to my kids to really open their eyes to say, like, oh, okay, so it's easy to say, like, "Be nice to my sibling," or something fun and fluffy like that, right? But when we have to look at the other way and, like, what do I need to avoid? And it was like, "Oh, I need to avoid calling names." What else do I not want to do? I don't want to avoid phone calls from my parents or my siblings once I move out. Like, I want to come and help if somebody needs help, right? So we just went through all of these things of what we want, like thought that the actions we would need to take, the behavior we would need to have in order to create a happy family, even after kids have started moving out. So fast forward to just a few weeks ago, and we are on this weekend getaway. And we had, how many is that? 9 of us in a condo. And I just loved it. I loved it that all my kids came that could. And, because that was one of the things is we talked about is to not make excuses to not go. But instead we found a way and a weekend that would work best for everybody. And so everybody made the sacrifice and came. Even if that meant they arrived really late for part of it. And instead of getting mad, like, hey, you should have made this a priority. And dad and I were snapping at somebody, it was just like, I'm just so glad you're here. And then while we were there, we played games. We had so much fun playing games. We went to the lake and just had so much fun together, and I just thought, "This is, like, everything I was working for." These were the things that I wanted to create, and I get to experience it now, and it was so stinking amazing because I put in the work. I am reaping those benefits, and so I wanna just tell you, it works. It works when you focus on connection and have really great boundaries. and just holding that space to love your babies and holding firm boundaries from a space of love and not contention, not yelling, not force, control, any of those things, right? But just like just to keep you safe, right? Or to keep our family functioning or whatever it is. And so, as you are on your own journey, look at this and maybe ask this question with your family. What do we want our family to look like next year? Right. So, obviously, we went quite a bit ahead of time. But if you're like, okay, even next school year, what do we want our family to look like? We want to have fun together. We want to laugh together. We want to do what together? Right. Then, what are the steps that we would need to take to get us there? What are the things we need to avoid that would deviate us from that path? So you have to have this aim, this goal, this vision, this purpose. So you know what it is you want to create. And I've said it before, if you want to, you either intentionally create the family culture you want, or you will unintentionally create a family culture you don't want. I saw these funny reels on Instagram. I think my sisters were sending them, and it was like, I love going on a family vacation so I can hear my kids complain in a different city. So it was just totally funny stuff like that. And which is hilarious, and I can giggle at all that things too, but it made me think, like, I went there and my kids didn't complain. They didn't fight. There was no yelling, there was no contention, and even the games when they get heated and excited and whatnot, and people are mad or whatnot of like, "Oh, man, I lost," um, of just really coming back to this intentional piece of like what it is we want to be in this family that we have worked really hard to create. And it's not always fun working, like putting in the effort isn't always sexy. But it's those little boring things of that consistency of staying calm, connecting with your kids, holding those boundaries and doing that over time. And you create this a very intentional family culture that is something where your family can just work together. So as you are preparing for the school year, even think about what do you want it to look like? What do you want to be? Who's the person you want to become by the end of next school year? And then go back. So this is the person I want to become. What does that person do? What are the actions that she does? And then what are the things she needs to avoid so that you do not get off of that path, right? And then we can come back into a model. So, like, how do you need to feel in order to do these things? What do you need to say to yourself to keep yourself going? So, these are really great times to do I am statements of like, I'm an amazing mother. I am what? I am calm. I am fun. I am whatever it is, this person you're trying to become. If it's a family thing, right? Do you have a family model, a motto, an aim, something like that, that really helps you to be intentional with what you want to create? So, take some time and create like in your mind what it is I want to create. And you have to remember it can't be something that you cannot control. So, like, my kids to always be happy. Guess what? Sometimes kids are grumpy, sometimes I'm grumpy. So, it's not always be happy, but maybe it's like that we always work it out, that we have a lot of fun together. We are, most families, most kids are motivated by fun. I'm motivated by fun. A lot of us are motivated by fun, right? So, just really thinking about what it is you want to do and then start doing those things and start letting go of some of the things that may get you off that path. And, friends, I just have to tell you from somebody who's been working really hard for a long time on these things, it is worth it. Every time. It is worth the relationship I have with my children. It is worth the relationship I have with my spouse. It is worth it. So, like, the basic math formula to creating this, like, if you have that aim, is consistency plus effort. That's it. Over time, you will also create this amazing family that you have always dreamed of having. And I know it's real and possible because not only have I done it, but I get to help so many amazing people who are doing the same thing. So, friends, love you so much. Be intentional with the family you want to create, and you can create it. Have a great week, and I'll talk to you next time.